This summer, Book TV is asking, what are you reading?
Early on this year, I was given a copy of this book by Christian Downing, and it's the woman behind the New Deal, and it's the life of Frances Perkins, who was the first woman cabinet member and the first labor secretary back in the Great Depression. She was nominated by Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and I find a lot of similarities with respect to the kinds of challenges that we're facing right now. As we see high rocketing unemployment, we find a lot of dislocation of workers, a need for investment in our workforce, protections in the workplace, safety for children even. I mean, just making sure we uphold our labor laws and provide adequate help to the population. So it's a really interesting book. She was someone who had great courage and someone who broke barriers for women. And every time I think about what she was going through, I can relate to it. I see it as I go around the country in my travels, where we continue to still see poverty and the financial crisis affecting so many people, and just how she helped to resolve and give strength to the administration and to the president in terms of providing good leadership for reforms, for basic wages and hours to be met, safety in the workplace. There were many people that were, for example, killed in a sweatshop. She saw that firsthand, and as a result created laws and procedures to make sure that there were safety outlets for people in the workplace, which is really important. The second book that I want to look at is one that I've read, and actually a good friend of mine, Caroline Kennedy, wrote this. It's The Profiles in Courage for Our Time, and she's continued the legacy of the Kennedy family, profiling people of courage, and her father was the original author of the first book, and she has since taken up the torch there and has really looked at profiling different people that would make decisions that could cost them their political careers, people that would come forward and fight the good fight on behalf of everyone. And she just gives different examples of people that she showcases in the book. One that I think of that was of great interest to me was Henry B. Gonzalez, who was a congressman here from Texas, who was one of the first Hispanic members of that background. And it's a really exciting reading, and in fact they have a little chapter about me in here. That's kind of interesting. This last book here, The Grapes of Wrath, it's kind of a historical book for me. John Steinbeck, I remember reading it when I was in the ninth grade, and just felt so drawn to the stories and the humility of people that back in the Dust Bowl era were really faced with hardships, depression, trying to find a job, and saw a lot of mistreatment and abuses that were going on. But more importantly, just the fighting tenacity behind these people, that wanting them to be successful, make a new life. Many of them came from the Midwest, southeastern part of the countries, and came to California. And it's a great story just to always reflect back on the plight of Americans and how they kind of laid the frontier for many of the changes that we see now, that we're actually benefiting from, because a lot of the changes that occurred in society, laws, protections for workers. So for me, the theme is here, women of courage, people of courage, people that have been able to go through great challenges in their life and were able to supersede and go beyond. So I think these are good things to think about as we look at where we are right now.
To see more summer reading lists and other program information, visit our website at booktv.org.